To begin today's show, I'll be joined by my American Medicine Today radio co-host, Ethan Euchre.
Thanks, Kimberly. The VA healthcare system has been called a corrosive culture resistant to reforms and change by Obama's Deputy Chief of Staff, Ron Nabors. And today we'll be joined by Darin Selnick, Senior Advisor of the Concerned Veterans for America. They've organized a task force whose goal is to repair this failing system.
Thanks for joining us, Darin.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Darin, I just kind of want to start out. I know you were actually an appointee for the Bush administration at the Department of Veterans Affairs from 2001 to 2009. So you've been sort of, not only are you a veteran yourself with the Air Force, but then you got into sort of the political realm as well. So you've been entrenched with this issue for a long time. What has changed over the years from when you served under Bush to now under the current administration?
Well, yeah, I served 3 secretaries at the VA and worked in VHA. What's changed is the leadership and management, but also ultimately, if you have a failing system, we had a lot of the problems, and we recognized a lot of the problems, and when we passed those continuity binders to the Shinseki and the Obama folks, and they disregarded. So we've known we've had problems for a while, and we've known we've needed fixes for a while. But when you have really good leadership, you're kind of able to put a lid on the problems and deal with a lot of it. But the new leadership came in; they didn't listen to anybody. They did untenable things like changing performance measures to stuff that people couldn't do, and it just caused the collapse of the system quicker than it would have happened. But it would have eventually happened anyway.
You know, this is surprising to me because we had David Jolly on who said that some of what he was putting into action was this choice card program, which was supposed to help alleviate all the problems and all those deaths we kept hearing about in the news. And what I'm seeing here is that only 27,000 of the veterans of nearly 9 million have decided to try and take advantage of this choice card program, but they're being denied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's actually only 27,000 of all the hundreds of thousands of veterans that have tried to do it.
Right.
The VFW did a survey of its members, and only 20% of those who tried could get any access whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Basically, the new choice card it was considered a Band-Aid. It was $10 billion or 2 or 3 years, whichever ran out first. Mm-hmm. It was always a bleeding the patients, stop the bleeding Band-Aid approach. But there's no real choice when you have to ask permission. And I knew from the very beginning, and I warned them, that if you give the VA an opportunity to play around with the parameters of getting that choice, like the 40 miles and the 30 days, you're in real trouble. I mean, who has ever heard of 30 days from a doctor making the decision that you don't need an appointment unless it's 30 days past what you medically need for that appointment? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unheard of.
Well, and Darin, we also should point out to people who are like, what are they even talking about? The Veterans Choice Card Program was supposed to alleviate some of these horrendous wait times and, veterans not only waiting around for so long for treatment, but a lot of them were dying. It was the whole VA scandal. And so, again, this was supposed to be a great program to help them. Where did this program go wrong?
Well, from the very beginning, where it went wrong was the VA choose, rather than do Congress's will, to go ahead and actively start the program. So what they did was, first, they were very late in issuing the cards. Second, they did rules changes. So Congress said, hey, do 40 miles, and then there's exceptions. They interpret it to be 40 miles from whatever facility, not the intent, which was really 40 miles from where you needed the health care. Then it was 30 days from your desired date, got changed to 30 days from when the VA decides it's medically necessary. So when is the colonoscopy medically necessary? You could push it back a year and say you're still not late. So intent is everything, and the VA really didn't want to let veterans go outside, so it started doing whatever it could. In addition, it started paying, Congress said, pay Medicare rates. There's an exception if you need to, but pay Medicare rates. It started paying 30% less. Now, what doctor or health plan is going to be able to accept patients 30% less than Medicare rates, which are already low?
Let me answer that question. It will be a cut rate, less than qualified healthcare provider, because no doctor is going to accept that kind of rate.
Well, it also states here that the number of doctors who no longer accept those reimbursement payments has tripled within the last 3 years.
It's unbelievable. So, Darin, I know that you folks at the Concerned Veterans for America have come up with something called the Veterans Independence Act, and it's supposed to right all of these wrongs that were supposed to be righted in the first place with this program. Tell us about it.
So basically, what we did, look, two basic areas of reforms. One, you got to fix the VA healthcare, and you got to provide choice. So what we did real quick in terms of fixing VA healthcare is if you make it independent, if you really make it a healthcare organization rather than a government organization making healthcare, make it a government-chartered, nonprofit, independent, accountable care organization, so it can go ahead and not be under the thumb of all those government rules, but be a healthcare organization and not be a monopoly. Then it will be able to reform itself and make the business decisions. Right now, it doesn't control its IT, it doesn't control its personnel, it can't control how much money it pays its doctors, it's got government rates. So it's got lots of problems, and Dr. Cussman was a big proponent of that because he couldn't really run the organization well. The other thing is offering real choice, and in our plan, which you can go to cv4a.org and read it, basically what we do is we say, look, if you like your veterans' health care, you're close to one and you're getting good health care, great, you can keep that. But if you don't like it for any reason, it's your choice to leave it. No 40 miles, no 30-day rules. So you can be in one or you can be in the other, and that choice means that basically you can pick any health care plan in your state. Is what we're talking about.
Well, let's hope that it finally makes some headway in getting the veterans the health care that they truly need.
For sure. We appreciate it, Darin. Thanks for joining us, okay?
All right, you guys all have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.